Well, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you happen to be. Today is a special day. I have with me in the Ignite Press studios, or perhaps remotely, Diane Rogers. And Diane Rogers has written a beautiful book, Leading Heartfully, the art of leading through your heart to discover the best in others. And I want to bring Diane on so we can all get to know her better and let her share what this wonderful book is all about, because it's launching today. It's available right now on Amazon, where you can get the paperback, the hardcover, or the Kindle. And the Kindle's priced at 99 cents. So you can go get the Kindle today for just 99 cents. Let me bring on Diane. Diane, hello. How are you?
I never had like my own music before I came on. That was kind of fun. It's great to see you, Everett. It's fabulous to see you.
It is great to see you there too. This is a fun day. Are you having fun with it so far?
I don't know if fun would be the right word. I think the word that I've used in many emails already this morning has been overwhelmed. It is overwhelming. With support and love and encouragement and cheerleading, and it's just been amazing this morning. So yeah.
Well, fantastic. Now we've got some well-wishers in the audience already. And if you've got comments, go ahead and put your comments in. We'll bring them up. In fact, if you have questions for Diane, I will funnel those questions to her so that we can make those part of our conversation today. So, Diane, before we get to your book, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and what's brought you to the point to writing Leading Heartfully?
Wow. I guess the most important thing about my background is that, when I was growing up, it wasn't that I would ever be an author, or I guess I never envisioned myself being where I'm at today. And I think perhaps that's the gift of just being open to any adventure. I have a math degree, which I kind of giggle at because math degree individuals aren't really proficient in writing. And yet I've managed to figure out how to bring 40,000 words onto a piece of paper. I worked in aerospace, I worked in semiconductors. My career began in nuclear power, but it was really always searching for this sense of purpose. And I wanted a lot of kids. That didn't happen. And, at one point in the middle of my career, I thought I wanted to work in healthcare, because in healthcare, there were people who cared about other people. And I thought maybe that would connect me to a very strong sense of purpose. And so I moved into healthcare in the 2000s, and it was there that I began to see, and I use this word all the time, and it's very relevant today, but it's there where I began to see the magnificence that exists in every human being, and how when they bring that magnificence forward, God, it just changes the world. And so that's kind of been my journey. It's actually been the people that I've worked with that have led me to really want to create a message of turn your observers on and notice the best in others.
Wow. So I'm just getting some well-wishers there, sharing them there.
I know, I'm kind of managing all of this at
I
once.
know, it's hard, right? It's hard to
so I can see it. So just so you know, guys, I can see all of you, okay? So, thanks for being here and being part of this special occasion.
Chris just added this comment, and she's right. You must really be right-brained and left-brained and be good at both math and sciences, as well as art and writing. Because you're right, that's not a common combination. And I think about what you do. Those watching, I had the opportunity to. Diane was kind enough to invite me to a very special party to talk, to meet some of the people that have been involved in her life and in her consulting. And it was amazing, the overflow of emotion and gratitude there from a lot of really well-connected and powerful, people and educated, and it was beautiful. And especially a lot of people in the hospital systems around Chicago, right, Diane?
Yeah, the thing that when you read the book, it's a book of stories, it's a book of people, it's a book of how we connect with each other. And, the event that Everett's talking about was to honor all of the people who had been a part of this book writing journey. As you would imagine, it was not an easy task for me. It took took me 2 years. But it was filled with all of the people that I had met over my career in not only healthcare, but also throughout my life. And it was just, I think one of the lessons that I've learned in all of this is, back to that adage that nothing happens by yourself. Even as we celebrate today, it's silly, but I was thinking about all of the people at the Academy Awards who stand up and they thank, all the people who were a part of that movie. And I never really understood it until today, because in my head, it is just filled with an overwhelming amount of gratitude. And to be able to share that gratitude and to acknowledge everyone who had a part of this um, is very meaningful. Is very meaningful. So, um, yeah, the people in my life were responsible for the words in the book.
Well, I want to share this comment from Lori Gunther because I think this is telling. It says, Diane has been working with nurse leaders doing group coaching during the pandemic, and her energy and leadership development is second to none. Wow, that is fantastic to hear that. And then Chris is saying, "Yep, contagious change." Your brand actually, but it's more than a brand, right? I mean, it's not just a name. It's it's not just a company name. It's what it's what you make happen. It's what it's really what it's all about. It's contagious change.
It is what we hope to create. That whole notion of a ripple effect. I got a note from someone the last night, a text, and I had indicated to her that she was a great leader, and I was just affirming, for her that she was a great leader, and she said that she was beginning to see it, and I thought how just powerful that statement was, and in the book I talk a lot about how do you create conversations where people can begin to see the best in themselves. And how do you lead and lean into that so that not only do they see the best in themselves, but most importantly, and at the end of the book, I write, my wish for you as a leader is that you get to see the magnificence that exists in you. And that's that contagious change, right? The whole notion of everyone has a capacity to change a world is that it just continues and continues and continues to where we are powerfully and profoundly and positively creating real meaningful change. So I giggled right there because when I said powerfully, profoundly, and positively, one of the things I discovered when I wrote the book is I really am a huge fan of alliteration. I love using words that start with but who would know that, right? But anyway.
I
So
love it. It's funny. Malia, of course, our publishing coordinator, we were talking this morning, and Chris, about title, and same deal. We love alliteration as well, and sometimes we can get carried away with it.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let me share this quickly for those people watching.
Before you go on, I want to really acknowledge Malia and Chris and yourself, Everett, because having a good publishing partner, right? And I also want to acknowledge Kathy Fyak, who was my book coach.
Absolutely.
For me, I need people who sometimes believe more in me than I believe in myself. And your team and Kathy were the perfect people to help encourage me forward and to help me to maneuver through all of the channels around writing a book. This was completely unknown. And so I just want to make sure that I acknowledge all of that. And it's hard to do that because I also know who's on the, like Sue and Diane and Lori and all of you that are there. You're all a part of this, but yeah.
Well, and I think you hit it when you talk about showing gratitude. And there's a lot of people involved in the story, right? And they all have different roles. Like, for instance, Shannon doing really incredible artwork, right?
Yeah.
Those people involved in editing and layout. But more important, I would say, is those people who've contributed to your story to bring you to this point, right? There's all those people. We do stand on the shoulders of giants.
I mean,
right?
Sue, I know, is on here today with us, and she wrote the foreword. And again, part of playing in the sandbox with others is that it always brings a different perspective. So Sue's words were very moving and touching, right? And that's the whole thing about magnificence. I define magnificence as, I tell everyone I made up my own definition, because the one in the dictionary didn't quite capture what I was seeing in the people in who were caring for patients, who were caring for each other. And so I made up my own definition. It's in the book, right? And it says,
it's good because Connie asked the question. She asked you, how do you define magnificence?
Connie is perfect. Connie's a MCC coach, right? A master certified coach, right? So right there, wanting to bring us forward. So I define magnificence as the quality of magnifying the essence or intrinsic nature, that which is within of an individual or experience. And so what it really means is, how is it that we can, my phrase, turn our observers on to notice the essence, right? That which is about the person, the who, not the what, but the best of everyone. And then how do we bring that forward to that individual, magnifying it for them so that they get a glimpse or a spotlight or a sense of who they are at their best selves, and then just continue to reinforce that. And if you were to close your eyes for just a moment and you imagine the world where everybody was practicing that every single day, it would be the greatest place on earth, in the universe, right? And so leading heartfully is an invitation for leaders, for just people, just humans. It's an invitation for humanity to notice the essence of every individual and to bring that forward, magnifying their best selves. And in doing so, noticing the powerful impact it has on you. Right? It really is. I love that Chris said. It really is a contagious change. And I didn't even anticipate that, 12 years ago when I started my company, right? But it really is a contagious change. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Let me, I would be remiss if I didn't tell people to go grab the Kindle version on Amazon today. It is 99 cents. And today is the launch day. What that means is that we're really trying to make this happen as much as possible now. And that 99-cent purchase of a Kindle version really will help the future of this book. Because really the life of a book is often determined in the opening round, and like many things sometimes. So please go pick up the Kindle version for 99 cents. Now, Diane, there was another comment here I wanted to share, and I just thought this was beautiful from Sue Clune Murphy. As a CXO at University of Chicago, the energy that she brings has truly influenced our culture to create exceptional experiences for everyone every day. So lucky to have this book to share with many. Wow, that's wonderful praise. And I didn't share yet these pictures of you at work, but I need to work them in here somewhere.
okay.
So tell me, Diane, really, who did you write Leading Heartfully for? Like, who did you have in your mind as you started to craft this?
Wow, Everett, that's a great question. I think initially I probably had an intention to, Kathy would always ask me, I didn't follow all the rules very well, but Kathy would always ask me, who's your audience? Who are you writing this for? And that was always so hard for me to grasp. And, but I think initially I thought, I'm going to write this leadership book. And then in the end, I think that I was really writing it. I struggled who I wanted to dedicate it to. I wanted to. I was trying to figure out who should I dedicate the book to. In the end, I did dedicate it to my mom, but in the end, I wanted to dedicate it to every individual who, in some way, had positively impacted another human being, because that's really what the whole book is about. And the gift that I received in being a part of witnessing, a lot of my work, I am invited into the patient room with a clinical caregiver, nurse, doctor, just being on the floor. EVS, I've walked into the rooms with the environmental services folks, and it's we think that they go in to simply do clinical medicine-y kind of things. But if you just pause and stand on the sidelines for a moment and you watch how gentle they talk, how comforting we can be. When you think about COVID right now, and you think about how the only connection that a person might have is from that nurse or that doctor or that medical assistant in the room who's just covered in protective equipment, and you think about that, and you think about they're the people who are offering that arm of hope and that reassurance and that comfort, it's profound. And in the book I write about that, in healthcare, the people who are there get up every single morning to care for strangers. And I think when you think about this idea that we get up every single morning, I mean, who does that?
Wow.
Right? When you think about it in that context, these are very special individuals. And whether you're in healthcare or in banking, or you're the deli guy at the Safeway grocery store, right? There is that essence of magnificence in all of us, right? And this is the book. So today, the book is really for everyone to just simply tap into this notion of how is it that I can spark, to use your word, Everett, to spark my own capacity to change the world, and then to watch what happens when you do. I know there's a long answer, but when I first started to write the book, I was just doing the deal. But Connie said to me a couple of weeks ago, she said, it sounds like the book has been a very cathartic journey for you. And it really has, because there is a depth of meaningfulness of why are we even here? And, I started this conversation where you asked me, a little bit about me, and I told you I was in search of my purpose. And I'll say, in writing the book, it's clear to me that I have found it.
Wow. Diane, I think you bring up an unanticipated outcome, right? There's certain outcomes you can anticipate in life and in business and in writing a book, and there are others you can't. But what happens is it forces you to think of your subject matter in a clarifying way, and out of that comes inevitably that you end up thinking about what you're doing differently and seeing your mission, I think, more clearly. And I think I'm so glad you brought that up, because I don't think people think of that when they think of what's going to happen when I sit down to write a book. I don't think they anticipate or understand that at all. I also want to just kind of echo, a bit on the healthcare workers. So my daughter is a nurse in Arizona, and you and I've talked about this.
Yeah.
So she works in a hospital that at one point had 4 COVID patients and now has hundreds.
Yeah.
And her unit was the only one for the longest time until just recently. Her unit was the only one handling COVID, and they had to change their whole method of treatment. Instead of a team treatment environment where all these different people do different things in the room, it became only one person goes in that room for that 12-hour shift, and it's a daughter.
Yep.
And she's a first-year nurse. She started in March. And so she's the only person going in that room for that 12-hour shift, providing care that she is having to learn on the fly, and doing things that are normally probably done only in the ICU, but have to be done there, because it just floors me. And she's gained, probably 5 years of nursing experience in a year. But the fact, like you said, she gets up every day and goes and treats strangers.
Yes.
In fact, you think about it, a lot of these healthcare workers get up every day. They leave their families.
Yeah.
They leave the comforts of their home to go into an environment that is infectious, that is stressful, with long shifts, and they're confronted with, sadly confronted with death on almost every day. And I don't know how my beautiful daughter gets up and does it. She is my hero. It blows my mind, and there are so many heroes out there, and I'm grateful, Diane, that you help the heroes. You're part of that mechanism, just as you were thanking those people who were behind you to get you to this point. You are behind them to get to the point where they're the tip of the spear, and you're helping equip that tip of the spear.
And I think the other part of the equation there, Everett, is I'm watching you tell the story, and I'm watching your emotion in telling the story about your daughter. And, part of my brain is going, aha, the invitation to see a different perspective, discover the magnificence, to bring forward to create a conversation where we're comfortable and free to talk about the best in others, right? My brain is, as I'm watching you, I'm going, it's already right. And that's the intention of the book, right? Is to calibrate my phrase is to turn your observers on and to calibrate what you choose to see, because there's so much you can choose to see that's not working, and perhaps there is much that isn't working. But if you shift and choose to see the magnificence that exists, the momentum that can create is profound and, again, positive and productive.
Wow. Oh, fantastic. Diane, is there, you read a bit of your one section from your book about magnificence. Is there another section in your book that you'd like to share, or another favorite part or story about your book that you'd like to highlight for us? In fact, and while you're looking, actually, I'm going to, Lauren brought the comment, and she says she's got her copy. She's gifted some Kindle copies to magnificent healthcare workers or healthcare leaders that she knows to create contagious change. That also I would bring up is, as part of this challenge for this launch, was if you would buy a 99-cent Kindle, but then turn around and buy one for someone else. Right. And gift it to them. And that's so easy. It's easy to do when you're on Amazon. On the right-hand side, just as you're looking to buy, there's an option to gift one or to send one to somebody else. And for 99 cents, you could touch a healthcare worker or anybody to help them discover this movement of magnificence and contagious change.
That's so great. I never thought about it as a movement of magnificence. Okay, guys, all of you that are on here with me, we're going to create a movement of magnificence, okay? So, Everett, there's so much in the book because there's so many people that I would honor, but I'll just read what Leading Heartfully is, okay? And I'll practice doing my best audiobook audition here, all right? So, on page 8 of the book, Leading Heartfully. Leading Heartfully is about the art and the heart, hence heart, of leadership. It's an invitation to bring your best self forward further, to discover and leverage the best in others. There are skills and frameworks, practices and principles for sure to be noted throughout the book. But getting to the art and heart of leading, finding your flow, the eloquence and grace within you, and connecting at the heart level with each individual is an experience not to be missed, and holds the possibility of the most magnificent journey of leading others. So there you go.
It's like, okay, drop the mic. I don't think we can leave on a better note than that. Diane, we're grateful for the opportunity to work with you. We're excited about your book launch, and excited more about just what the book is going to do. You just know that in creating this, you've done all this work. You've invested time and resources to get to this point, and the exciting part is what lives will be touched. Like you said, hear me talking about seeing the magnificence in my daughter and the magnificence of other people, associated to just get her to that point. So lives will be changed, and and the exciting part, Diane, is there will be lives changed you'll never ever hear about, right? Yeah. And then you're going to have these weird times where you find something had impact from the book, and you just never would have expected, and that is beautiful too.
That's right. So all the folks that are on there, what's my phrase for that? You might be surprised.
There you go. I love it. All right, so I'm going to sign us out again. Go pick up your copy of the book on Amazon today for 99 cents. Gift a copy to someone else for 99 cents. And help spread this message really of magnificence and leading heartfully. I'm grateful that you came on our live cast today and got to meet Diane Rogers and learn more about leading heartfully. Thank you again so much for joining us. Everett O'Keefe from Ignite Press, signing out.